It's 7 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here.
Here. Archiever, Thompson, Tifa, here.
Okay, the first thing in consent would be the approval of the consent agenda. It would be the approval for the 10/15/2024 meeting minutes. Anybody with a motion on the meeting minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the 10/15/2024 meeting minutes.
Second.
A motion to approve the minutes in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Three to one, motion passed. Second on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes for the 11/15/2024 meeting. Would entertain a motion for that.
Motion to approve the minutes of the 11/15/2024
Second.
meeting.
It says they're available.
That was a clerical error, or my error, I would say.
Was
They
it
are
posted?
available,
Was it posted?
yes.
I second.
So we have a motion and a second to the motion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Motion passed. 3 to 1 vote. Third one is the accounts reconciliation. Would entertain a motion on accounts reconciliation.
Motion to approve account reconciliation.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor, say aye. Motion passed, 4 to 1.
Did you ask for the opposition?
I did not, sorry. Anybody to oppose the motion?
I voted aye.
That's why I didn't ask that.
Okay, all right, I didn't hear it.
Yep, for aye.
Motion to, entertain a motion to, approve disbursements, payroll report, and budget report.
I'll make a motion to approve the disbursements payroll budget report.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the disbursements, payroll report, and budget report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So stand. 4-0. So the next one, would be board approval of the board meeting agenda. Entertain a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that we approve the board meeting agenda for November 22nd, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next would be the call to the public for any items on the agenda.
Steve Smith, Rock Road. Regarding tonight's meeting, since we in the public really have had no opportunity to review the agenda beforehand, I request that if anyone has any input on the various topics, they be allowed to speak when the topic is discussed by the board. Many times, as I had attended the past board meetings, I thought, if I was these board members, I would be begging the public for their input. We have a wonderful group of people in our township with great and diverse knowledge and skills. Unfortunately, the way these meetings were conducted in the past made it very difficult for the public to contribute anything. And I will talk more about this at some future meetings. Thank you.
I'm not getting up to say anything yet. Just want to turn on the mic.
Did it stay on, because I didn't change the batteries?
Pardon?
Did it stay on, because I didn't change the
Yeah,
batteries?
I think it did. We'll find out here.
So the next item on the agenda would be the planning commission ex officio report.
Basically, we had the meeting a week ago Monday, and the gist of the meeting was the Krieger proposal, which was basically requesting clarification in the drawings and the landscaping, the lighting, and the parking situation. So it was left as to revise the drawings and come back next month. And the rest of it is online, board members already have the minutes, so unless there's any questions. That was the gist of the meeting.
Thank you, George. And next is new business, to discuss and approve bids for siding of the township hall. Russ?
Yep. Okay. I have received 4 bids for the siding, and we have a brick guide that's already existing. But we did add on to his bid, because we're gonna remove the rest of the brick so that we can waterproof the foundation. And he also was gonna do the wood, but actually he's not going to do that now, because we have 4 siding bids, and I'm gonna try to get one of them to do it ahead of him, so he can start laying brick.
I have a question.
Sure.
I hate to interrupt you, but on the bid that just came in, it's dated today, was that brought in before the posting of the packet on the web?
This bid that I just got tonight,
Correct.
I just got it tonight, it just came on my email. I have 4, that one just came, it hit my phone.
The packet was published yesterday?
Correct.
Okay.
I personally don't think we can accept the bid.
I don't think we can.
The one I just got tonight?
Right.
With respect to the rest.
Okay, so I got 3 bids.
Yeah.
3 bids for siding, and, but getting back to the brick guy, okay? Because we're a commercial building, we don't require a residential builder's license. And so I'd like to waive the requirement in our contract for a residential builder's license. We don't need to have a residential builder's license to do a commercial building. He would not be required to have a license. He does have workers' compensation insurance and liability insurance. They're both adequate amounts. And, that guy's out anyway. So, what I would like to do is I'd like to request that we waive the license requirement for the brick mason. And I would need a motion to do that.
Did you put anything for the bricky in the packet? No? No, okay.
No, because we already hired the brick guy.
And the
Well,
name
we
again,
did change,
what
but
is it? Bricks and Blocks?
Bricks,
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 blocks, and
rock,
rocks.
yeah, Bricks, Blocks, and Rocks, LLC.
Motion to waive the licensing requirement for Bricks, Blocks, and Rocks LLC.
I will second that motion.
So we have a motion and a second to that motion to waive the requirement for a residential builder's license for bricks, blocks, and rocks. Have a second. Any other board discussion?
I second it.
I'm good.
Nobody, nothing? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so I
Motion
have-
passed.
I have, the 3 bids. Well, actually, we better talk about this. So the brick guy added on to his original estimate. He added on for removing the rest of the brick around the footing. And, I believe he added on for his bonding insurance as well. So his new total is $51,260 minus the $14,000 that we've already paid him, which is a balance of $37,260. That'll be for Bricks, Blocks, and Rocks to do all the brick. So I would, guess I would need a motion to accept that increase in his bid.
Are we allowed to ask a question? Wasn't his first bid, didn't that include him doing the green board?
It did, but this one does not. I pulled that
So
out.
it still increased even though he's doing less,
The
is
increase
there a
was,
breakdown?
the increase was for the original taking the brick down, was the 14,000. And then the thing that bumped it up was that we're having him take all the brick out. And we're gonna have him waterproof the foundation and the seam between the wood and the cement.
Why didn't he take all the brick out?
How's he gonna take the brick out?
Why didn't he take all the brick out? The first time.
I don't think he was asked to. He wasn't asked to do it. I wanted him to do it because I wanted him to get the waterproofing down over that seam. There's no way to do that without taking the brick out.
I'm just thinking, being a brickie, you should have known that it needed to come all the way out.
Well, the customer's always right. I mean, I can't tell you why he didn't do
You
it.
paid him to remove the brick, but you didn't remove all of it, now I'm paying him to remove the rest of it. This seems a little high.
So that new estimate takes off him bidding on the wood and then includes the extra couple rows of bricks?
That includes taking
And
the
then
rest of the brick
waterproofing.
out. That includes waterproofing. And,
I just wanted to make sure that the green
that
board was
also
taken
includes
out
his
of that
bond fee.
estimate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's not gonna do the wood. I think the idea was originally that we weren't going to take all the brick out because we were just gonna put the brick back on the existing 3 rows that are on the ground. But because once we exposed that, we discovered that they were not solid filled like they're supposed to be, and there wasn't any flashing behind those bricks. So, in order to get the flashing properly installed under the brick and behind it, we have to remove the other 3 rows.
Thank you.
Russ?
Yeah.
Sorry, so in October, we already increased his bid once to
Yes.
48. I
Mhm.
can't remember where it was originally, so we went up once to 48.
That was to take out the last 3 rows of brick.
That was the increase to 40.
Yeah,
Correct.
and what took it from 48 to 51 was his bond insurance.
To be-
But he does have a performance bond already in place, so, I mean, that's a good thing.
So the plywood replacement is gonna be the cider?
Yes,
All right.
I wanna try to get the cider working in conjunction with him so that he can be ahead of him.
And it's in the bid spec that way, correct?
It will be, I mean, it is spec to do the wood. Obviously, I will be
As needed, right?
I will be orchestrating that as far as the procedure and how we're gonna go about it, but I wanted to put that in. Matt is a mason, so, you know, not saying that brick masons can't play with circular saws, but they tend not to mess with wood too much.
Understood.
So I'd rather have somebody who's accustomed to working with that type of material and that type of work.
Russ, I have one question. The increase was to cover the increase in bond insurance that we requested, because we requested him to increase it, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And is that normal, $3,260, does that seem right?
It's actually pretty cheap.
Can you give me the total that you need?
The total,
For bricks, blocks, and block? The
bricks.
increase?
his total bid,
Yeah, or well, you needed an increase, or you wanna just increase the total bid to the 51,260, is that what you're asking?
51,260. He's already received 14,000, so that gives you a balance of, I had it 37,260.
Okay.
He's also requiring a $12,780 check so that he can get the brick delivered and start the job.
12,000 what?
780.
Motion to increase the contract for Bricks, Blocks, and Rocks LLC not to exceed $51,260.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion to not to exceed $51,260 for bricks, blocks, and rocks. We have a second.
I think we're just.
Roll call, because of the money.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do a roll call.
S. Porter? Sorry, S. Porter?
I'm thinking, sorry,
Okay.
about the motion. I have a question. So you want the motion to go all the way up to the 51, even though we've already paid 14 in the balance
Total.
total, or for the whole job?
Correct.
I'm good.
Not to exceed.
That's the max. Yeah.
Mike Brown?
Yes.
T. Foot? Yes. G. Bushy?
Yes.
Okay, and so I have 3 bids for siding. And one of them is from, Kanza Group, Building Solutions. It is for, 36 square of siding. It includes the pressure treated CDX plywood around the perimeter of the building. And his bid is $35,770.
Question. The total on the bid says 41,580, then there's a 35,770 below it. Is that regarding permit? It says plus permit? Is that different?
It does, is yours handwritten like that? Does yours have?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I think, I'm not sure why he did that, but he did, it was 41,580, but he crossed that out and wrote 35,770.
Well, looks like he adjusted a whole
All
bunch of
kinds of
numbers.
stuff,
Yeah.
there's a lot of writing.
Yeah, a lot of writing on it, changing
Yeah,
numbers.
it has a lot of writing on it. He came here in person and did this while he was here.
Russ, I have a quick question too. The thickness of the siding, did they use that spec sheet that was original spec sheet for that, or?
This one here's yeah, basically an 046 double 4 Dutch lap or Dutch lap, but it'd be a double 4
Yeah.
is what we want. Color to be determined. Install the spec from manufacturer, remove and dispose all current siding, replace gable vents, rain drip flashing over windows and doors, includes house wrap and whole building.
I'm just asking that about the spec sheet because I've noticed, I don't think on one or two of these other bids that they state the thickness of the vinyl.
They don't. They don't state the thickness. I would think that we would be okay with, well, 4.6 is thick, that's the thickest, but like a 4.4 would be my, an 0.44 would be like the mid line, cause the 0.42 is pretty thin.
Yep.
So if we went with an 0.44, I think would be more economical and probably, you know, better all around. I would imagine that these guys all pretty much have that. This guy stated 0.46. My next bid, they actually dropped off some samples, which is also, that's an 0.44 panel.
Okay.
Which one are you referring
to? Yeah, which one, which kind
You say next.
Okay, so you wanna move to the next one here?
No, I want you to tell
Oh.
me which name you're referring to.
Nation Building Services,
Okay.
And
and then,
they described two different ones, so are you saying the 044 is the low grade, and then the?
042 would be the
Okay. And then
thinnest.
The signature would be,
That would be an 044 panel probably. I'd have to verify that, and I can, but,
they're saying an upgrade, we could upgrade for an additional 1480. So, in that first section of that.
oh, actually, I think the upgrade there is for color.
Is it color, just color?
Yeah.
Okay, not thickness,
So-
okay.
So some colors are premium.
Yep.
Darker colors are usually premium colors, which is something that when we get this done, that's something else we gotta talk about.
Is there a discrepancy between the low bid and the next bid? Are we missing something?
The low bid and the next bid, I mean, I kinda got them in my stack here, I didn't put them in order, I guess I could have.
I think he's referring to exterior enhancements.
You
Is
mean,
the
George?
next bid, because they're $45,000.
Well, this bid,
Yeah, one of them's 45,000.
yeah, Nation Building come in at like 28.
Yeah, that is our lowest bid.
That's, okay, but then the next bid up is, what, 41?
35,770.
Okay, I'm just asking,
Yeah,
not without going through the supplied material list, what was supplied, is there, are we missing something on that bid?
well, I don't think so. The one for 45,000, he thinks there's 47 square on here, so he might have overestimated. Because the other two are 36 and 38 square. So his bid at 45,000 was for 47 square, so either these two guys didn't measure it right or he didn't measure it right. But it's $45,000. I really don't even wanna talk about that one.
I understood.
So there's the two. There's the two, and you know what, I did get another, come to think about it, I did get 5 bids, but the one guy sent me a picture of the bid, which I told him I wasn't really happy with that, but I'm not gonna kick him out, but he was at 42.5,
Okay.
so.
You got one more you wanna talk about?
No, that was it. No, well, starts talking about stuff. I mean, the lowest bid, we have the lowest bid guy. But what we're gonna need to do is either, we have to obviously make a motion to accept his bid. And what I would like to do is, after we accept this bid, I'd like to have him provide all his documentation. I'd like to verify all of his insurance and everything. I've asked people for it, cause I haven't met these people. I've only talked to them on the phone, and I've asked them if they have, you know, proper insurance and everything, but I wanna see it. And I wanna verify it with the insurance companies to make sure that it's good.
Russ, if I can make a recommendation, I would also ask that we get some references.
Good idea.
And verify that,
That they do what they're saying they're doing.
yes, before you decide anything.
Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that statement. And I would not only like to do that, but I wanna verify their insurances. I would like to check their work out and get some references.
Thank you.
And I would like to have a, you know, a construction walkthrough with them to discuss any of the details that are, open to interpretation. Obviously, we want the building.
You wanna preach
Nice
out
and
loud,
tight.
bro?
I will, yeah, I definitely wanna do that. I mean, I'd like to hire one of these guys, but then I wanna make sure that they're up to snuff and they understand exactly what it is we want.
Well, just a minute, Russ, now, you never addressed anything, what if they find rotted wood or resetting the windows?
Okay. No, haven't addressed it, but I will.
That's-
Any framing, I'm reading off this guy's bid, and it says, any framing members that need to be replaced due to rot will be billed at time and material at $45 per man hour plus materials.
And what about the windows?
So there was some question about, you know, I need you. There was some questions about whether or not we were going to, like, take the windows out because they're recessed an inch inside the wall. Most everybody said, you know, that was something that they could wrap them with aluminum without it being a problem. But if we wanted to do it, they would do it at an additional cost to reset the windows. And they averaged about $200 a piece, and there's a lot of windows here, so that would add a lot to it just to move the windows 1 inch.
The $200 a piece, that's just the exterior cost? Now,
That's-
if we move the window out, you're gonna have to
The
do a lot
trim
of
on the
interior
inside.
work,
Mhm.
right? So the 200's just to move the window out, basically.
That would be to take that window out. That would also include, though, the flash around it, around the jamb, the way it's supposed to be done. The way it is now, we won't actually be able to flash the jamb without taking the window out, so we'll have to flash to the window.
Right.
Then you're relying on caulk.
Well, we're not relying on caulk, we're gonna have to have 1 seam of caulk is what I'm trying to achieve. That will be the metal against the window, and then that's gonna have to be bent with a couple legs in it. And I also want them to bend an integral J into it, so it's 1 piece of metal all the way that the siding goes into. That way it doesn't need a J channel around it.
Yeah, Russ, if I can make a suggestion, I have a hard time visualizing things. But when they go to do the work, why don't you have them do 1 window and inspect it and make sure it's the way you want?
Well, I guess we could have them do 1 window when they start,
Yeah.
but I pretty much am gonna make sure that I inspect every window that they do.
Okay, okay.
And I wanna make sure that they're all, I don't even want anything sloppy, I want it nice and tight. And I want it caulked properly too. So, as far as the way it's gonna look, it's pretty much gonna be a piece of metal that has to come out 1 inch, go down 1 inch, come out another 1.5 inches, and then drop for the face of the trim, and then that'll have a J bent into it, and the siding will go right into that. So,
Okay, yeah, it sounds like you understand.
well, I mean, the only thing about doing something like that is that it kinda gets us started. We have to have them come and start and then we gotta stop them for us to all come and take a look at it. So if you trust me that it's gonna be right when I look at it, if it's not right, I won't let them proceed, then we'll go with that. I mean, obviously, if it's not right, it's not gonna fly. So that's kind of why I'm watching the project.
Russ,
Yeah.
regarding the rotten wood, you said bill that $45 per man hour plus materials.
45 per man hour.
Okay, is there any way that they could get the go-ahead from you, like, show you where the rot is? I guess I'm worried about, like, are they just gonna come and say, yeah, we found a whole bunch of rot, now it's this much plus materials? Can you see it before and agree that, yes, that's rot, yes, it needs to be replaced?
Yeah, we can, because they'll have to pull the OSB 4 foot up. Once that comes off, I'll be able to camera the whole exterior of the building.
Okay, cool.
And I wanna do that just for our own records, that we have a video that walks all the way around the building. And I may not get that all at once, because I don't want them to strip the whole building off at the same time. So it may be one wall at a time, but I wanna open it up and inspect it, and then have them cover it, if it's good. I already know that the back door has rot on one side. One side was fixed, one side was not. That side will have to be fixed. So there will be some additional work there for whoever.
What is the age of this building?
Not old enough.
I know,
19
I
years.
don't understand, because when you're talking the rot and.
2005 or 2006, I think.
Part of what happened is that the windows and the J channel and everything didn't get caulked. And it didn't really get flashed properly either. So over time, rain and water coming down the siding, instead of flashing off onto the ground, it actually went behind the siding and rotted out our building.
Because it wasn't followed through on at time, no, not you.
Before my time.
Yeah, exactly, but they didn't follow through on it time ago.
Well, it wasn't done properly, and that's why it failed. And I think the goal here is to make sure that it's belt and suspender, because there's nobody that lives here that loves on the building, basically. I mean, I walk around and look at my car, make sure that it's not cracked. But we should have a maintenance thing, at least once a year, somebody go around and look at the building and make sure everything's good. You know, I know that we wouldn't have saw the rot behind the siding anyway, but still, caulking and stuff like that is very important to maintain on a building. Especially if nobody lives here that takes care of it. Nobody, you know, if there's nobody here that cares for it, then stuff can happen.
Who was the original contractors? Aren't they liable? Don't they give you any kind of warranty?
They're out
Out
of
of business. Irish construction.
We thought of that one first.
Okay,
They're out of business. So probably from doing some stuff like this.
yeah.
So, Russ, is this Nation Building your recommendation?
It's the lowest bid.
Is it your recommendation?
I recommend that we go with Nation Building because they are the lowest bid, and they're apples for apples with the other guys as far as their bid. But I wanna verify, I have never seen the man's certificate of insurance. I wanna see that. I also wanna see some work or references that they have. And, have a pre-construction walkthrough. We can hire them, but we also have to fill out contracts and all that stuff, so providing that they can provide me with a legit certificate of insurance and that their references check out, I would even be willing to go and look at some of their work if you'd like me to. I'd like to. And then the pre-construction walkthrough for any details that we may have missed.
Does anybody here know this builder?
I do, so, he's a pretty good friend of mine. He's a good guy, does a good work.
I mean, he's
from what
local, I just
understand.
wondered if anybody had.
What's a conflict of interest? Just kidding, Joe.
Well, I don't know, which side of the road is the odd numbers? This side or that one?
Is he on the north or south?
He's south,
He's on the south side? Okay, so he's a Conway resident.
He is Conway resident.
Yeah.
Motion to accept Nation Builder Services to include proper vetting, insurances, and contracts signed with a pre-job walk-around with the zoning administrator, providing references and to include resetting of the windows, proper flashing and caulking.
You wanna reset the windows?
Do
We wanna reset the windows?
Proper vetting and contracts, insurance, signed with a pre-job walk-around, provide references to include, I don't know that word.
Resetting of the windows,
Resetting of the windows,
proper
proper
flashing
flashing
and
and
caulking.
caulking.
I didn't think you were gonna
Why
reset.
are we gonna move the windows?
The gutters have to be reset and everything too?
What?
The
Okay,
gutters, you know?
Motion on the floor.
Hold
Motion
on,
on the
hold
floor.
on, hold on, yeah, motion on the floor.
Did everybody hear the motion?
We
Did
need
you
gutters,
just said it?
but it's not in the bid.
I second.
I'm getting to
We've
that.
had-
Okay,
we've
board
had
discussion,
we've had all
please.
these problems.
You go sit with him and then,
We're doing scholarship
We gotta
right
keep
now.
going until-
we're gonna, I'm getting to it. I haven't forgot it and I know you won't let me, so I won't. Alright,
Mr. Bushes, you are proposing that we reset the windows at a cost of $200 per window.
What I said?
well, that was the other guy's bid, was 200. Let me look at this
It's
guy.
this one.
Look at this one.
Let's look at this one.
This guy doesn't have that on
I
there.
don't see it.
Okay. This guy doesn't have,
He doesn't have
Doesn't have it.
he doesn't have it on there. The 40-some thousand dollar guy did.
Is that the discrepancy?
Yeah. So you think it, so there, that is kind of a, that's kind of a question that we have to answer. If, there's a couple different ways you could look at that. I mean, if we pull these windows out, it's gonna be additional cost to pull them out 1 inch. Then we're gonna have additional cost to trim the inside of the window. We're still gonna have to paint in here, we need gutters, a bunch of other stuff, but what I'm saying is that the windows the way that they are right now, just because they're already there, we can, as long as it's one piece of metal that wraps the window and
You're
it
saying
comes.
you don't have to reset it?
I'm saying that it's not necessary to get it waterproof. It wasn't done right, but it's not like the end of the world.
Be one joint, one caulk seam?
One caulk seam at the window,
But at the window.
metal to the window, yep, that'd be the one caulk.
Which you're gonna have no matter what, correct?
You're gonna have that seam no matter what, exactly, so you're actually adding cost on to move the windows, basically just to move them and flash underneath them. But if we could flash over them, we should be okay.
You're good with it?
I'm good with it if it's done properly.
Okay, amend the motion to strike, including the resetting of windows. But I'm still leaving the flashing and the caulking in the
Yes,
motion.
yes, because we're gonna flash, even though they're recessed, we're gonna flash to them,
Yeah, I want it in the motion.
okay?
Okay.
Proper flashing.
Flashing and
caulking.
caulking.
Was flashing in the spec?
For Russ, but-
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ross, I have just one more question. Did you write the RFP?
I wrote a scope of the work.
Okay, and does this nation building meet what you
The
wrote?
scope of my work, yes.
I don't know whose responsibility it is, but for the packets in the future, I would request that we also receive the RFP, because if we're gonna look at bids, it's a little hard to see what you asked for and determine if they got it, so that's just, a thought,
Don't you guys have the scope of work?
not in the packet.
It's not in this packet,
Oh,
it's
okay.
in previous.
Okay.
I mean, I don't understand all the construction stuff you're talking
Okay.
about, if I can look
Well-
at something that's asked versus what this is, I might.
Okay,
We
well,
have the bids. We have the bids.
I prepared a scope of work, which basically starts from, it basically lists everything that's to be done in sequence, all the way through from start to finish. So that way, there's nothing left. There are some things like the rotten wood in the back, we have to open that up and then we can determine whether the studs have to come out or whether they have to be, one needs to be put next to it. Depends on how extensive the damage is once we open it up.
Can you email me that?
Pardon me?
Can you email me your scope of work?
I can, or I can walk into my desk and get you one.
Whatever's convenient. Thank you.
It's right here in the building.
Okay, cool.
Somebody, nobody has that, oh, okay.
Amended motion on the floor.
I second.
Okay.
Okay, seriously, you don't know what Nation Building is going to charge per hour if they find rot.
Yeah, $45 per man hour plus material.
I thought that was the.
Now, the other guy had the windows.
Okay.
The other guy had the window bump out thing.
Okay,
No, he's got it right here, 45 per man hour.
okay, all right, thank you.
One more thing too, Russ, we gotta upgrade our building permit.
Yes, I will take care of that.
Proper inspections on that.
I will take care of that.
You
And
ready?
we will have inspections.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second, do you want to read the motion?
Yeah. All right, motion to accept Nation Building Services. Yeah, I want you to read it again, because I'm gonna have to edit your writing.
Motion to accept Nation Builder Services to include proper vetting with insurance contracts signed with a pre-job walk-around, providing of references to include proper flashing and caulking.
Sarah, seconded. Mike Pratt,
Yes.
as support.
Yes.
Chief? Yes. Chief Bush?
Yes.
Okay, so there are some things that we're gonna need to do to complete the building. One is we don't have a gutter bid, so I'd like to get a gutter bid, because we're gonna need gutters. The other thing is that we have some drywall damage on the inside of the building that we're gonna need someone to do some drywall repair and some touch-up painting. So those will be bids that I'll need to get.
Motion to approve the zoning administrator to move forward with gutter and drywall bids for the township hall.
We have a motion to approve the zoning administrator to get bids for drywall and paint and gutters.
Did I forget anything?
Has there been any environmental services coming in and doing any mold
Second,
testing
more
and,
discussion.
and burning of, mold out?
Nobody?
Yes, there has. And we're gonna bring that one up right now.
Okay,
So,
As supported.
because there's
Yes.
so many different types, and when people are working in this
I
building,
don't think.
No,
we-
breathing
This
this air, is
all in favor, say aye.
it's safe.
Aye.
it safe?
It is.
Yeah.
Opposed? 4-0.
The next item on my list here is the mold guy. So, he wanted to get paid, but he hadn't completed the walkthrough or a certificate that we're mold-free. So he went up in the attic and he found some further mold or mildew. It's not really mold, it's mildew. So there's an additional charge that he's actually wanting to abate that mildew.
I need a copy of the contract with the mold company.
Who's your mold guy, what's his name? What's the
It's
company?
Home Solutions.
Home Solutions?
Mhm.
Okay, I see that on here, so it's not all state environmental out of
No.
Brighton.
Are we looking to discussion on that?
Pardon me?
Are we discussing the mold company then?
We are discussing the mold company at the moment.
So the mold company charged us 3 times for a dumpster. They only brought 1 dumpster. Bill Grubb was able to get them to, they were supposed to refund 2 dumpsters. They've only refunded 1 so far. so they still haven't been paid for the last invoice. No, the invoice.
I've got an invoice that reduced it by
Yeah.
$1,000.
I have it. Anyways, I need to
Okay,
call
I had
them
one that
again
reduced it by $1,000.
before-
So I haven't seen the invoice, that one, or whatever,
Yeah, it's
since
the
they
creek,
did
right?
it. But what I was told when I called them about this, was that, she reduced the one bill by 500.
Yep.
And then, reduced this by 500. So I don't know what the
I just
original
don't see it.
was,
It shows
where it
that.
shows it.
Yeah, it
Right.
doesn't show.
So I didn't know if there was a different one of these before this one for the attic or not, because this is the only one I
It's the only one I
received.
have.
Okay, so that has to be discussed.
Society, that sample.
Yes, that's why I wanna talk to them for.
The one in the office?
Mhm.
Hey, Russ, don't forget about
I'd
that
like to.
half-inch gap
That's everything, but,
on
Yeah.
each peak.
Okay,
That's gotta be filled too.
yep.
I mean, that's basically something that can
yes.
Was this ever approved by the board?
It was not approved technically by the board. So when this was done, and originally with them, I asked and called everybody about this situation with the mold, because it was, in my opinion, an emergency situation.
Not saying it didn't need to be done, I'm just saying that it was not approved by the board.
So, can you explain, if you would like, finish my
I'm waiting,
explanation?
I'm waiting.
So I called everybody on the board, everybody said that we needed to move forward, and they were okay moving forward. I left a voicemail for one of the board members, and they sent me, called me later and sent me a voicemail saying, yes, we need to move forward. In the past projects and stuff, when this was happening and things had to get done, in a timely fashion like that, and try to keep things enclosed and stuff, and I'm talking about the back door over here and stuff, I was told that as long as it was an emergency situation and stuff, that it was fine to move forward with verbal. That's what I was told in the past.
That's fine, I'm not against doing it, I'm not against paying for the remediation. The point is, it was never brought to the board after it was executed.
Okay. I was never aware that that had to be the situation.
I don't agree with your interpretation. And moving forward, everything goes through the board.
Is Home Solutions the name of the company?
Yes.
Because there's
From
so many
Lansing.
different home solutions in different areas, but there's no,
The official title is Your Home Solution.
your home solution?
No.
Okay.
So with this mold,
Yes, so the mold guy went up into the attic because he wanted to get paid, and I basically said, well, wait a minute, because you're not done yet. So he came out to inspect, and when he went upstairs, he found some mildew, and he also found, some gaps where you can actually see outside. So I haven't got pictures of that yet, which I believe they came pictures.
They took pictures and said they were gonna forward them to us.
I have not got the pictures. So the only way I would be able to verify that is if I went up in the attic myself, which I don't have a problem with, but I just haven't done it. So there is something in the attic that needs to be addressed. I'm just not sure exactly what it is.
When were they here?
Last Sunday. And the guy that went up in the attic, his name is Michael. And I'm sure if we contact them, I'm sure Michael can forward those photos that he took. He showed them to me on his cell phone and said he was gonna forward them. But he said it was gonna be this week. And, you know, at this point in time, I don't know what's going on.
He wanted an additional like $5,000 or something too, didn't he?
Yes. There was one piece of OSB on this west side on essentially like the floor of the attic. He said the OSB was so mildewed and so thin, he could actually see light right through the board. That was those louvered vents that were up there and the rain was just coming in.
OSB on the floor of the attic?
On the wall,
On the
around
wall.
the vents,
Where the louvers used to be.
Not on the wall, it's on the floor.
there's OSB.
There's some on the wall, but there's some actually on the,
On the top of on the ceiling,
right.
You don't know until you go up there, I guess.
somebody has to go take a look. I volunteer to supervise.
Second.
Then we're gonna need somebody smaller than us.
I'm definitely not smaller. Sarah?
I would press that, Michael, for those photos.
Yeah, that I will.
Would you
I
contact?
will contact him and ask him for the photos.
But of this bid, so only 500 of it is this mold problem, the rest is what he says is batting and 32 protrusions, large air seal, that's $1,000, and that's taking up a lot of it. Baffles.
Oh, you're talking, you're
Of the
saying,
$5,700, $550 of it is the chemical mold treatment. That's it.
You can-
The rest is the other stuff that we're not real sure, I guess, until something looks.
Is this company local, or I see they're from
Lansing.
Illinois?
Out of Lansing.
Yeah, they have a,
I mean, there's nothing to say that we don't have to treat the mildew problem, but it doesn't necessarily have to do all the other work. If we have maybe this nation guy, or, you know, might want an idea if this seems unreasonable or not. For what he's-
Well, I'm sure that the cider could do the OSB. And basically at $45 an hour plus materials, so that would be a more economical way to go about repairing that.
This batting is $3,000.
The mold guy was pretty expensive, in general, yeah. So, yeah, if we could save money by having the cider do it, that'd be a good thing.
So we're tabling the mold right now,
I think,
until someone looks at it?
I think we probably should, because we have a lot of questions. And we could get maybe some other answers from the ciders or whatever of cost.
Well, I think once some other people get up there and take a look and see what we got, then we can kind of make a decision on how bad is. I mean, obviously, if it's rotted from water getting in over the years, then it'll have to be replaced. So I would think that would be the cider. Not that I'm sticking my neck out, but I am certified in the state of Michigan to abate mold.
Well, go on a diet and get up there.
Oh, man! Oh!
All that means is that I can
He's
tell
the
you
one
whether
who
it's
said
the
he
bad
couldn't get
mold
it.
or if it's okay.
Russ, we'll take 2 ceiling tiles out for you instead of 1.
That works.
We'll need to take 2 out. So, mold guy, I'll get a hold of him for the photos and I will get that figured out. And, I'll get bids for the rest of the stuff that we talked about. And now, what else, Mike?
Hold on, yeah, hold on. Is there gonna be a motion on this, or what?
On the mold,
Yes.
I think we're gonna table and get further information.
Motion to table, motion to postpone, what are you gonna do?
I think we should do a motion to postpone, I guess, on this one.
Till we get the photos and everything, get more information?
Yep.
Okay.
It is.
they get good
I'll second.
reviews. They get good reviews.
Okay.
We have a motion, a second, any
That's
further
good.
discussion? Okay, anybody? We will, vote on the motion on postponing the abatement of the
That's
mold
right.
in the attic.
That is absolutely.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. My last thing, and it's the most difficult of all the things that we've discussed. What color are we going to make Conway Township Hall? Those are our choices.
Green and white.
Black and blue. Put it back.
Black and blue, who said black and blue?
It's been a big
What is the difference in price per color, Russ?
The upcharge is right on his bid, it's right the first item. It was, $1,480.
How do we know which ones are charged?
So usually whites and tans and lighter colors like that are usually like a standard color. I can identify them for you, but the darker colors, the second half of that page, yeah, like that whole, those last 3 rows, those are all premium colors, and the 3 rows on the top will be a standard color.
So total upcharge is the $1,480?
Yeah, that would be to get it, that would be to go with something else besides white or gray or tan.
Okay, what about like from a maintenance perspective, like are the dark colors, they don't fade or anything?
You know, they used to say that the darker colors faded and stuff like that, but they've come a long ways and, in keeping the color pretty good. I've used a lot of dark colors on houses and they've stayed dark. You know, if you get direct sunlight, the thing about it is they all kind of fade the same amount. But they don't fade that much. That's also the largest manufacturer of vinyl in the world.
I will say that the fluorescent lighting can be deceiving too.
And put your sticky note back.
That would be an issue.
The warranty with your shingles as far as color and lasting for so many
The darker
years.
color.
Yeah.
So
There is a color fade warranty on ply gem siding as well.
I can say I've heard from a lot of people in our community that this building is very, very drab and boring. So-
I agree.
You guys are saying that?
That's one I like.
Wow.
Which one, was that the?
It's
Old
like a green,
Dublin?
but it's like a dark.
Come on up, Russ.
Green.
Come on up.
I had a sticky note over that color and Russ.
The old Dublin?
Yeah.
Ah.
It said, "No way, Russ," and he pulled it up.
Did you really say that?
Yes, it did, he stole it.
Okay, the only reason, and this is the only reason that I think that this color would look nice right here. Everybody could probably get behind this color except for Brandy, she doesn't like the green. But our logo has green in it,
Well, we can change that, and it's not that green.
our land has green on it,
Slash gray and.
we have corn.
Gray and white.
What color's the brick?
Yeah, what color was the brick, Russ?
What are we going with?
What color was
What
the
color's
brick?
the brick?
Brick.
It was similar to what's
The
the.
color of the brick outside on the wall there, it's kind of it's kind of a lighter, whiter gray. Anybody got anything they want to
Gray
say?
and white.
Anybody got one on here they wanna go with?
That'd be so industrial.
Old Dublin for me.
Gray and white would be very,
Always been a big city.
Gray and steel,
I
there you
think
go.
green.
now, we could, okay, well, we wouldn't wanna do blue, okay, because, alright, this is Conway Township, alright, you gotta think, vast land, you know, with corn growing, so, you know, green, and we got green in our logo. Oh, my hat is green. There's a lot of green. Yes,
And white.
I mean, we've spent so much money on this building.
yeah,
Does the color really?
well, you know, let's look at it this way though, okay? Let's look at it this way. We're fixing up the building, and the thing that we're gonna always have to look at every time we drive by here is the siding.
That's right.
We're not gonna see the green board behind here, we're not gonna see any of the replaced OSB or nothing, but we will see the siding every time we drive by.
Every time I
Everybody
drive
has
by and see
something
the
to say
site,
about
I'm
the
gonna think
library.
how much green we got in it.
Think about how much,
The
well,
gray
then
next,
that's,
the gray next to it.
it's a lot of green.
The gray next to it. Show everyone that.
So, if we wanted to break it up, we could do green around the bottom and then the gables, we could do like a tan or something.
Tan.
Great.
If we wanted to two-tone it.
Tie back, sorry.
Gray and white.
Does anybody have an opinion? We're not doing gray and white.
Country, we're
We
not.
can have any color but gray or
What
white.
were you saying, what do you want?
Pardon me?
What do you want?
What do I want?
Yeah, what are you pushing out there?
Okay,
Gray and white, come on, gray and white.
well, let me tell you what I'm pushing, okay? I will tell you this much, okay? No, I will tell you this just because it actually works, because I've used all these colors. And whenever I would put that dark green on a house, or something like, one of these darker, browns, it was like the first people that looked at it wanted it. Because it makes the white on the windows pop. And that's why those darker colors look so nice, because it makes the white trim pop. If you have a white-sided house with white trim on it, you really don't see the trim. What's the sense of putting trim on there? Might as well wrap it in J-trims. But like a darker color with the white trim would look really nice. But hey, I'm open to whatever color you guys want.
Can we see the thing one more time?
Not city, we're not commercial, industrial,
Don't vote for green.
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 Gray.
Green.
Gray. Gray. Come on, George, gray and white. Gray. Put the sticky note back on the color.
Okay, it's unanimous.
Do we need actually?
Excellent,
Motion to approve
Going
Old
Dublin.
Dublin.
excellent choice.
Second.
With a white trim.
With white trim. So, it's gonna be a dark green.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Old Dublin and white trim.
There you go.
They'll be beautiful.
And we're gonna have double floor with this.
That's enough, that's $1,400.
I guess, okay, alright.
Well, a few of us in the neighborhood that were just buying
We made a
houses.
motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
To approve.
Anybody hell bent on some other color besides green?
Nope.
Green is good.
I'll charge you that.
Correct. With
Yeah, but
the
it
color,
wasn't a bit of.
the color is automatically
Colors,
covered
it was
in
gonna be,
upcharge.
yeah.
All right, okay.
Okay, that concludes my
Presentation. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not buying you pizza anymore.
Next item on the agenda, I'd like to discuss the resumes for the assessor's position that is evidently currently open or will be. So we got a couple of resumes from people. You guys have them in your packets, so I did talk to both candidates. The candidate, Peter, is an assessor in the city of Howell. He will only be available on Friday because they only work 4 days a week over there. But he says there's no problem in getting it done. But he is pretty much wants to do it as sort of a per parcel agreement at 24 cents per parcel. So his cost then, at this point, without discussing it further with him, is $45,600 a year.
Okay, 26 cents?
24 cents.
That's gotta be dollars.
You're
Yeah,
saying
it has to
dollars?
be dollars. We have 1,899 parcels.
I'm sorry,
You guys just hit me speak up.
Yeah.
it is
It was
dollars,
24.
correct. And who has her license for being an assessor and is certified and everything, but really has no real experience as an assessor, the way her resume reads in talking to her. So she's almost like, has to be trained. She's evidently a lot less money, but we don't have anybody to train her, is A. B, she, is fine with the hours or whatever, but we are going into an audit year for assessing, so that is all a factor for the two applicants that we have currently on our desk.
Well, so is Brandy still an option?
She's shaking her head no.
So I talked to Brandy, and she is not still an option, which is, in my eyes, a little unfortunate at this point. But this is, where we're at. I just wanted to discuss this today, to make sure that everybody is aware of what we have.
What did Judy say she would expect as far as
$22,000 a year.
These are both level 3.
Correct,
But she has never been an assessor before, actually.
correct. Like a
Is there-
full-on,
Is there a listing with the, job qualification or job description of,
It was posted in the News and
What?
Views.
correct,
Yes,
It was posted in the News and Views.
correct.
I guess,
twice, it was in the paper.
It was also shared in a couple assessing,
Yep.
groups.
So Mike, what has Judy done?
Pardon me?
What, you said Judy has never had real experience, what has she done?
So according to her resume, she was a managing examiner, which is responsible for reviewing of all principal residents, exemption and questionnaires. So she was reviewing things with this, and while she was doing that, she took her classes and stuff to, get her certification and stuff, but she technically wasn't doing the assessor, quote-unquote, job.
Okay, but she reviewed what the other assessors were doing, is that it?
No.
No,
Okay.
maybe Bill or Brandy can,
So what she did, she worked for the state, and her job was to review principal residence exemptions. There's a lot of people that may have a home here
Okay,
and maybe a cabin or a house up north,
okay.
and they try to claim principal residence exemption on both properties.
Okay.
You can only have it on your main home.
Okay.
And her job was to find the cheaters,
Okay,
and that's what she's done for the state.
Every few years, each township goes through it. Conway's currently having their audit right now.
How many hours is that other guy gonna work? When is he gonna be?
well, he's only gonna be available Friday and Saturday if he needs to. He's not really gonna have like office hours unless you,
So one of the residents needs to talk to someone.
correct, he would make it where you could come in on a Friday, like my appointment, if you need to do, talk to him, like.
Agree.
I wish you'd
So I-
come and assess the property next to my house.
What was the total
Assess that.
for Karen's salary? Did we ever determine that?
Karen was 28,000, for the assessor's office was the 32.
My thought would be to go with Judy. I gotta believe Brandy has things in pretty good shape. Now. Yeah. So I would not be scared of this audit.
There's a condition
additional contract for a year or 6 months.
She's got the classification.
She does, but it makes me very nervous that she's not had that actual experience, and we're in an audit year.
Not good.
And it's, I mean, the number looks good, but what could go sideways with something like that could be very bad.
Yeah, right here, it says she looks forward to expanding her knowledge in a practical setting, because she's never done it.
Right. So it's a, in my eyes, that's a pretty big game.
And the 45.6 isn't far off from what was suggested.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct, and I have not.
And it needs a higher qualification.
I am not, I wanna do this as like a preliminary, okay? I don't really feel a motion being made and hiring somebody today or nothing like that. I just wanted to make sure that the board and the people that are here today had information and kind of where this lands.
But because of his other employment, that's the only day he can work is Friday, because he works 4 10s for what, City of Howell?
Correct. And he, you know, he would work, like I said, I didn't work out all the details, nothing like that with him, just it was like a casual sort of conversation, kind of get a feel and see where we're at and bring it here. You know, we could maybe work on the number a little bit and then like set it where, okay, 4 hours every Friday, you're here at the office, and then you gotta do, you know, Friday and Saturday or whatever it takes to get the rest of the job done or whatever. But, you know, there's things we could work out or discuss.
I would be interested to know if someone calls in the middle of the week and leaves him a voicemail, is that something he can answer at lunchtime?
Yes,
At least gets back to
he
people?
actually said that he could do a consultation with somebody or talk to somebody via Zoom or FaceTime or anything like that too. He was open to that.
And he assured you that would be no problem?
Correct.
I mean, I would only be, I don't think we should try to pinpoint someone into something if they are professional and they can get the job done, I don't think we should necessarily be saying, you have to do this, this, and this. The job is gonna get done, and and he can assure that, and we see that. I'd be leery to pinhole him into certain things that he has to do.
Abby?
So I have a question, he's an assessor in Howell, right?
Correct.
The, Board of Review is directed by the state on when you're gonna hold it, how is he gonna hold it in 2 places at the same time? Just a question thrown out
No,
there.
that's a good one.
No, it's a good question.
That's why I used to do it.
I know, I mean, we've had somebody here, it's just, yeah. I'm not gonna say what's on my mind.
Come on, Gabby.
Nope, I'm disappointed.
Is it a salary or man-hour bill?
No, I'm not sure.
Pardon me?
Is it a salary or man-hour bill?
It's a salary.
It's
It's a salary.
It's a
Is it
salary. Yep. Any other comments, questions?
Mike, if I may, one of the things we see in the office, and it's pretty steady, is during our office hours on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, it's not uncommon for at least 2, possibly even 3 or 4 people a day that come in with assessing questions. If we don't have an assessor here when the office is open, and they've got to try to get a hold of him on a cell phone and get a Zoom meeting, that's gonna be a little cumbersome. In my opinion.
I agree.
Let me ask you this, Bill. In the past, before Karen, and wasn't there a contract company here or something doing this?
Karen way predates me. Karen's been here for,
Okay.
what, 20 years?
Karen was contracted at one time.
Karen was contract at one time because she had various, but she had 2 or 3 different people working with her here in the township. But when she went on her own, a single person, and the pressures with the accounting and the IRS and that, she no longer wanted the contract, and it was also favorable for the township to not have a contract, so we hired her as an employee.
And the people before them was Wayne, and he did own a company, but he, was a Conway resident also.
Wayne,
Griffith,
yeah,
Andelo.
yeah.
Yeah. And fire.
Yeah. I did inspections on
Any other questions we need to maybe ask them, both of them, or
Is the ad still running?
it is not?
Not in the paper, but it is on the Livingston County Assessors Association website, and I believe it's also on the Michigan Assessors Association website.
It's not on that, you have to pay.
It's not?
You have to pay for that.
Oh, okay.
Even though we're members, you have to pay for it.
It's only on the one then?
But they sent it out, there's a couple of free ones that Jessica sent it out to also.
Yeah.
As a, like a blast out to people.
Problem with assessing, it's not something you take in college or whatever. And the certification, it's like you can go to a school to learn plumbing, but when you've graduated, you're still not a plumber. You have no experience, and that experience is absolutely huge in the assessing world. I mean, when you get that stuff wrong, and you're putting the township in jeopardy, and it's a very complicated position.
Is there a possibility of merging the two? Having Judy here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I'm not saying it's gonna work, okay? I just throwing it out there, so. Because of the accessibility issue with him only being able to work on Fridays.
So,
Or a contractual issue with a contracting service and have Judy here on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'm just throwing it out there, okay?
Just remember that January 10th, no later than January 10th, your personal property statements need to be mailed. And they can't be processed until after December 31st. That's the next big state deadline, just so that you guys.
Say that again?
Personal property statements have to be mailed after January 10th. Before January 10th, I apologize, after December 31st.
Sounds like 10 days.
No, we don't have very many. Most of ours are on 5076s, which means exempt. Sorry. I just wanted you guys to keep that date. That's the next state deadline we have.
thank you.
You're welcome. Personal property tax. Small business exemption, most of ours.
Anything else? Any more thoughts, anybody?
Contact the contracting assessor.
Will do. Okay, the next item, is the poverty exemption policy and guidelines.
packet on that. I have information for you if you'd like.
Where's the packet?
This resolution 241122-3 is not part of it?
Oh, then yes. We all have a copy. It's not exactly how we normally amend them, but
Okay,
that will correct the issue.
do we have the same document?
Does it look like this?
Yeah, bring it up here, please.
I only have a couple of copies.
Just wanna make sure we got the right one.
151024-1 is the original frame.
The original was,
It's the same number.
No, I'm talking about this
The
one.
main difference is that you can't, it's not the deed language, right, Fran?
so in the past, when, this is the third amendment to this document
Yeah, didn't we just do this?
for a law change. It was originally done, then there was a law change, we had it amended again. Then we have the tribunal.
Yep.
And that line needed to be removed after I sent it to the SDC. So it's the third amendment to this. Generally speaking, the last time, there's a last page to this that's not, that I don't have a copy of. We changed this number up top to reflect this date, and then we signed the back page. I was trying to explain that to Rachel over the phone today. Rachel wasn't quite understanding that. I know. That what you have will correct what we need, and this needs to be corrected no later than the December meeting.
Is it the
This
bold,
is
the
part.
bold italics part? Is that?
The
part?
only thing that we're doing is this is our current policy. We're removing this line.
That's it?
That's all we're doing. If you wanna pass that around, because I know that you guys have. been
Which
able to see
includes
it.
any person listed on the deed as out.
Correct. It was deemed, against statute. That even though they're legally obligated to pay the taxes, we can't use their income in a poverty application if they don't live in the house.
So it's not a qualifying factor is what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution, edit the language of Conway Township Poverty Exemption Policy, number 24112-3.
2-3. Second?
Then you can have that back to my
Mhm.
consent.
And I think this was your,
I have extra if you wanna keep that or do you
it
like
matches
it?
mine.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
You want this one?
No, I got it. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second to, would it be, accept the resolution?
Edit the language.
To edit the language in the resolution of 241122-3. Since it's a resolution.
Yep.
Chief Fishes?
Yes.
And Brown?
Yes.
Bigfoot? Yes. Esport?
Yes.
The motion's passed 4-0. Zoning administrator report.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's your day.
Another presentation. Come on up.
Oh, what do you wanna know?
What are you gonna tell me?
Anything exciting?
Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. You talking about the regular, like, land uses and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it so?
Just-
You know, basically, we've had a couple of re-roofs, and we had one application for, actually two applications for new houses. And that's really all that we've had. The one house, they're starting on it, I think they dug today, actually. And the other one is putting their driveway in. Both of which I have to drive out and take a look at. The house that was being dug today had a kind of a fuzzy, site plan, so I asked them to dig the hole and then call me, so I could go out and just verify that it's on the lot where it's supposed to be.
Thank you. And the last agenda on the item on the agenda is the Fargo School resolution regarding marijuana businesses and dispensaries. So basically, it's a resolution by the Fowlerville schools, within the boundaries, to not have commercial marijuana dispensaries and or rural areas, in the boundaries of the Fowlerville community schools, and to commit to the health and well-being of our students. So no, they're asking for no marijuana, businesses or dispensaries within the Fowlerville school boundaries.
The district or the school?
Says the schools.
We already have those facilities.
Do we know if any of these other CC townships have also agreed to this?
I do not.
If I may, the school district already passed this resolution. I had thrown it in the packet for Tuesday as a communication item. It really shouldn't have been new business.
Yeah, we don't need to do anything with it.
No.
No,
It's just
it's
something that,
information. Just
correct, something that was put out there so that the public is realizing.
Yeah.
And, any board member discussion of any items?
I'd like to talk to Brandy
Yes, sir.
regarding the rec board.
Oh.
I know you got a meeting coming up, but do you have any updates?
I'm gonna go to the call to the public, because I was under the impression this meeting was gonna happen next Wednesday. I didn't have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Brown to get added, so I do have updates, and I was just gonna reserve it for the call to public.
Any objection to doing it at
Because
this
we
time?
can't add anything to a special meeting, so it'll be for informational purposes. Right, am I wrong?
No.
No, you're right.
I'm waiting for the call to public.
No more discussion? Call to the public.
Changed my mind.
Too late. What? No, we're not talking to you, you voted for green. We're not friends anymore. Alright. I know that 3 of you guys don't have this agreement, this first draft. I brought my card, because I'm gonna request emails.
Oh, I see how it works.
I gave you one last month, did you lose it?
Yeah, I did.
Can you share what's here for
Yeah,
this?
yeah. I took a shower.
Do you want me to go make you a copy?
No, no, no.
Do you have your copy at home?
I think I got it. I have it.
Well, way to be prepared.
Thank you.
All right. We received this, packet, or this agreement, at our last rec board meeting. I gave it to the board the day after I received it. I have found some substantial errors in this current agreement that I'd like to go over with you guys, just so that you know what I have found. On Monday at 5:30, we are gonna, the 5 representatives are gonna meet at Handy Township. The Handy Township rep, Bonnie, had looked over the agreement with the senior center, and the verbiage of how the money is dispersed is much better written in that agreement. I have not been able to find Conway's contract with that. We have searched
With what now?
the senior center.
Okay.
Because the money will, it's not donated, because you can't donate tax money. It's however it's worded. So I did pull our agreement with the school liaison, and I wanna get our agreement with the senior center. Tara and I have been working on that for a couple of days and literally cannot find it anywhere. I'm half tempted to just go to the senior center and ask them for a copy. But according to Handy Township, their agreement, which everybody's for the senior center is different, has a lot better verbiage on the dispersing of the money. So the five of us already have some issues. I wanna share my issues with you guys. And then at the next board meeting, we should have, after what comes out of the Monday meeting, available for
So
you.
this is gonna change.
Absolutely. I would expect this to change a couple more times.
Okay.
My plan is to take what the five of us seen, plus what Bonnie found, looking at the other ways that these kind of agreements are written, and, get it as close to possible that I would like to see represented for the township to you guys at the December meeting. And then you guys would be, I will get it to you before, that way it could be voted on in December to see if you guys have any additions. Then it would go to Abby or back to the scratch board, wherever.
But your marked up copy is Homier's first draft, correct?
Mine's here.
No, but that was Homier's first draft.
This is Homier's first draft.
Right.
And Homier was only given those bulletins that I had, discussed with you guys before. And then he wasn't quite clearly, by the way, some of this wording, wasn't quite informed on what the townships were trying to do with the school. So if you guys have a couple of minutes, I would like to go through a couple of these pages with you so you can jot down my notes that I have problems with. And then, if any of you and I already think I told Rachel, I don't know. But if any of you guys see any other issues, if you could shoot me an email to I'll check my, email Monday morning.
It's gonna change a lot when you have your meeting, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you see something that I could take on our behalf to that meeting, I would rather have that started now instead of waiting until next month's meeting. Because these meetings are so spread out, I would like to have everybody's input, the more input the better. Like, why keep rewriting the same stuff if you already see something?
Monday, 5:30.
Is
You
my
want an
meeting.
email before then, from us.
Please.
Thank you.
So you guys, ready?
Yep.
I don't have an issue with page 1.
Great.
Page 2, section B, Iosco Township had requested that the way that the sports were listed is that they could not offer anything less than what we were already offering. His fear was that they would remove a lot of sports depending on the direction of any new coming director, that they can't take any of these sports away. They can add more, but they may not take any away.
So this is the minimum.
That's what it's supposed to say. It does not say that. It's supposed to be at a minimum of this, and that word is not in there. So I'm gonna see about adding that to paragraph B. And then the way that they have the sports listed, I don't understand why we have to have basketball listed 3 times. And I don't know why it's like that, but I did baseball's up here and then down there, it's all youth sports. I did look and he did copy and paste that from the current agreement, so I guess it's always just been listed weird. I don't know why. So I was gonna ask them, is there a better way to read that? And then in section E, it says participating government units. So it's like halfway through section E. Can you guys see where my finger is, starting with participating?
A participant.
Yeah, a participating government unit is entitled to attend and participate in the annual January meeting. I think it should say required. I think every township should be present for that,
You're saying strike entitled.
yes. So you guys would always have to make sure that you had a rep. And then that's all I have for page 2. Page 3, section E, we had previously discussed that the Board of Education shall submit, quarterly reports instead of monthly.
Which one was that under again?
E, on page 3,
Quarterly?
yes. Okay, and then under A, the last sentence says, each unit shall receive an annual participant enrollment summary. I don't know if that's detailed enough, because we get the addresses and everything, and I don't, there's a word for that sheet, and I would like to see that added so that we have the proper addresses with the participant's name, and to make sure. There's a lot of problems with the form that they're using, it's called Final Forms. They submit their own stuff, they pick their own township, and then they pick at the bottom whether they're participating or not participating. It's really caused a lot of problems.
So you're looking for more specifics, but when you have the word summary, you do not get specifics.
Correct. And we have, the sheet is called, sorry, my stack is big. We get this, monthly at our meetings currently, and, it was discussed that, and this stuff is all mixed up. Oh, I guess it doesn't have a name, but it looks like this, is what we get monthly. I just want it more specific.
It doesn't tell you much, does it?
It tells me all kinds of stuff, it just doesn't have a name.
Oh.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, you guys can pass it around.
Oh, so it keeps it. So I have a question about this sheet actually, because I know that you've said before, you've said before that, to me and Rachel anyways, that you go through here and sometimes you see kids that aren't, you don't think live in the township. So my question with that, because like my kids have a different last name than I do, how would you verify that?
I always look at the addresses, and some of the people I just know, cause I have kids in the community, and I work here.
Right.
Like certain roads, like Fallowville Road, I always check the address on the map, because that includes multiple townships.
I just wonder, because like,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Certain
because
roads.
ours don't have.
A lot of the
Mine doesn't have.
sports kids are repetitive on our list. And I've done it for, I think this is year 4 for me, so I'm pretty familiar with the names.
So if you see the same name, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that probably has corrections on it if you flip. Sometimes I'll write on there, not ours. I don't know if that one does or not. And then we give it back to them. That could have been just my copy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, okay. All right, and then, under B, it says, each participating government unit shall pay an annual flat rate fee as determined by the Board of Education. Absolutely not. The entire reason is because we are done being an open checkbook.
So you're gonna strike that.
I don't know how it's going to be worded, but it will not say that the school board picks how much we pay annually.
How would you do it?
I'm not sure.
So you're saying strike that after the comma?
Yes, please. And he did do the July 1st is when the bill will be due.
You're good with that?
Yes, we discussed that. We currently pay in January and July, and there's no point in writing 2 checks if it's gonna be a flat rate. We asked the school if there was a preferred time of year, and they said July 1st is the beginning of their fiscal cycle. A lot of their other stuff is done at that time. It would work fine for them. I don't see what the difference is, and my view on it right now is we have withdrawn, and all 5 townships, we have received withdrawal letters to include us, all 5 have withdrawn from this current program.
Everybody's up.
Everybody's up. Apparently Conway was the only one that listed in their letter that until want to enter a new agreement. So they were a little concerned that none of the other 4 did. Their, representatives let them know that that was the intention. So the July 1st works. So anyways, with us withdrawing, we still owe the January bill this year. They cannot bill us more than 50% per our agreement, so before anybody signs that check, I would like to look at that when it comes in. And, the next time we would pay is in July anyways. So ultimately, I would like to see this agreement done sooner than later, as long as it's correct and protects the township. There will not be any disturbance in funding as long as we fix it, get it figured out before July. That would be the next time you would pay them anyways. With that being said, the next page, they want, under number 6, this, the date shall expire on December 31st. I think the date needs to be changed. If we need to go to the January meeting, is when they have to give us their budget, let us go over participation, make sure that they're within their budget, and before the budget amount is agreed upon, or the donation amount is agreed upon, I don't wanna agree to anything in December before that meeting. So I think that number should be, like March, April, only because I've been to multiple of those meetings where I've requested more information 3 consecutive months to get to the bottom of something. So I would like to give the township time, if we're not happy with something at the January meeting, a couple extra months to talk to them at their meeting, be able to have a representative at our meeting, just in case back and forth has to happen. There needs to be a cushion, and we sure as heck should not sign an agreement before we even have the following year's numbers.
But hasn't that always been the problem? That you could never get information when you requested?
That's a newer problem. And then I do not agree with this agreement shall automatically renew, which is the next sentence. That is how it previously was. And then the January 1st to December 31st, that whole area is gonna get some reworking. It's always automatically renewed, that's how it's been in the past. The point of this is to have an annual contract. Cause there is a possibility, like, of numbers changing, or certain townships, like Silver Springs, they just sold a bunch of units in Handy Township, so their numbers could tremendously increase and ours could go down. That's the point of the annual thing, is percentages might change, the number might change, you know. It should not automatically renew. Each township should be able to look at that contract with those numbers annually.
Annual renewal.
Yes. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, sorry about passing the 3 minutes.
All right, I'm sorry to have to say some of this tonight, but it needs to be said. I was dumbfounded at last Friday's special board meeting. So I'm grateful to Gabi for her comments then. They were right on. There was no need for a special meeting at all then, and there was a conflict of interest. The community is outraged at the manner Deb Grubb was appointed treasurer by the old board, which was headed by her husband, as we just had an election, and the vote was not for her continuing as treasurer. How the meeting was conducted was abhorrent. The board didn't explain the reasoning, there was no discussion, and no opportunity for the public to comment beforehand, as the agenda didn't state the name of the person being voted for. Also, there was no effort to solicit public comment, even though the future supervisor, Mike Brown, and the future trustee, Sarah Porter, were in attendance. Particularly disturbing is that Bill Grubb and Deb Grubb did not abstain from voting. It may have been legal for the Grubbs to vote for themselves, but it certainly was not ethical. Nor do I think that it was even ethical for Bill Grubb to nominate Deb. I hate political shenanigans, and for the expiring board to rush this through at the last minute is suspect in my eyes. This matter should have been left for the new board, who was taking over in only 5 days. The letter of the law may have been followed, but not the spirit of the law. Also, how could all of this been decided beforehand among the board members without a violation of the Open Meetings Act? Why not post the treasurer's job to see who else might be interested? That everyone in the office is getting along now, is not a good enough reason, nor all the other things that I've heard why they did this. They were all lame reasons. Most people would not endanger their reputation by appointing their spouse. But Deb Grubb, when she first became treasurer, appointed Bill as her deputy treasurer, and now Bill got Deb appointed as treasurer. I personally like the Grubbs and all the other board members here, and I have no axe to grind with any of them. But having a married couple on the board has always bothered me. It's legal, but not a good situation, as there is an opportunity for collusion and embezzlement. There has never been a percentage audit of our township looking for fraud, and I requested one about a year ago. Bill and Deb Grubb and Liz Witt, the supervisor, treasurer, and clerk, the very officers in position to commit fraud, voted against that. Now, I am not accusing anyone of anything, but this latest board action makes me wonder. I estimate that there were over 200 people at Tuesday's meeting in protest. And the public outcry against this shenanigans warms my heart. Thanks to all the good, concerned people, residents who came, the turnout was truly wonderful. I am submitting this to the public record, Tara. And again, I thank the board for allowing some input tonight for the residents. I thought it was wonderful, very productive. There were good comments and made. Nothing was done out of order. I urge that we continue doing that in future meetings. Thank you.
Oh, Randy DeFoe, follow the road. I only have one question on the siding that we either purchased or didn't purchase. Never did find out whether we did, and it all disappeared. So curious as to, where we are on that.
I don't have an answer for you at this time.
I know the siding is not here.
Correct.
Where it went, I.
Mr. Cotterill took that with him.
That would be my assumption, yes.
Yeah, I saw him loaded up on a trailer.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Did you take any pictures?
No, it actually wasn't Coswell, it was the guy working with him that was loading it that day.
Okay, no. It's my understanding it was caught on video.
It should be, yeah, because we do have cameras here. But, I've heard it mentioned a few times that, we paid for it, we didn't pay for it, so I'm just kinda curious whether we did, and if we did.
It's not clear what we did pay for or what we didn't pay for.
Exactly.
There's no bill of materials or nothing,
Right,
not to my understanding.
There's gotta be a bill.
so,
It's not with them, the bill's not with them. That's what he's trying to say.
that's all, like I say. If we're buying more siding, it would be nice to have some money back on what's not here anymore.
Understood.
Yeah, that's all I want.
Not seeing anyone else?
How do we not know?
Take a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's kind of a great thing. I didn't know it was that way.
Thanks, Tom.
one of those years, we're hitting that age where, family But, yep, we're vertical.
Yes.
Got air in our lungs.
What you wanna talk about?
Well, my question is,
Oh, yeah.
when there's something new like that,
No, if we have an unsafe building in the township, we can red tag. If it's unsafe.
I understand people drive around and look.
Ultimately, it's their call. And they did ask them.
So many places.
We leave them most of the time. We still have another meeting, I guarantee it.
I know that people moving up front.
All that's going on. First was what put in
Really
right.
didn't pay the taxes, but then it was.
Well, that's okay, as long as they're paying the taxes, right? But are they cutting their grass, is the house okay?
Most of the time,
On Friday. But she was here for Tuesday, and of course, we didn't even have a meeting. She was gonna address, all this stuff at that time, but, it didn't happen.
Yeah.